Hi and good morning, everyone. I would like to thank you all for joining this webinar. I hope everyone is in a good health and hopefully that you are excited to learn new things today as part of your learning process. Before we start, let me briefly introduce myself. My name is Akila and I am a BuildSpace System Consultant. I graduated from the University of Malaya in Bachelor of Quantity Surveying, and I have served in both QS consultant firm and a contractor as an assistant QS before joining BuildSpace early this year. As for today's agenda, I'll share with you a little bit about BuildSpace, on who we are and what we do. Then, to get you to understand the whole idea of BuildSpace, I'll touch a little bit on the importance of bills of quantities. And after we are all on the same page on how important it is to have a solid BQ, I'll show you how BuildSpace has prepared the platform for BQ preparation and also pre-tender estimates and also costing. So if you have any questions, feel free to leave us your inquiries in the chat box on your right, and we will attend those questions at the end of this webinar. So before we go further, please allow me to briefly introduce a little bit of the history of BuildSpace and what is BuildSpace. So back in the year 2009, when our JKR and CIDB collaborated to implement NETI, which is a National E-Tendering Initiatives program, that was the time when the idea of e-tendering started to be promoted in Malaysia. And from there, our founder, Mr. Chu, and his team started to design a system to establish a platform for the use of e-tendering based on bills of quantities. Along the way, BuildSpace has started to expand its features until post-contract management, which we also are able to manage on the claim activities in the system as well. We provide a platform which promotes cloud-based technology and automation to the industry while heading to the Industrial Revolution 4.0. So, I believe that all of you here are students pursuing quantity surveying in your well-established university. Therefore, you might already realize how important BQ is. However, still, please allow me to have a quick recap on why BQ is important, especially to QS. As we all know nowadays that there are so many software technologies attempts to replace the need of BQ, especially with new procurement arrangement and also the emergence of BIM. But all these years, when serving our developer clients, we can still see that the necessity of having detailed BQ for various types of works. BQ actually provides a better insight of project at early stage. BQ has a description and quantity. That means we can always identify what are the scope of works just by looking at a detailed BQ with descriptions. By having drawings and floor plans shared by other consultants like architects, engineers, and so on, we can actually use the BQ to identify some potential problems that may not apparent at first sight. Also, BQ actually provide a total budget estimate that can be well analyzed in detail. The detailed measurement of the BQ quantities are the great information to be analyzed and also can be used statistically in cost planning like S-curve at early stage with the allocation of the project cost and time. Next, with BQ, we can have a better control in variation cost, which BQ provide the best means of controlling the cost of variations in the contract. Substantially, will reduce the risk of over budget from a project. And also, contract BQ always used as a basis to evaluate variation cost with the contract rate as our cost estimates. The last one is BQ helps to reduce contractors' overhead. As for contractor side, by having BQ helps contractors to lower down their estimating risk. Also, since BQ allow all contractors to tender on the same basis, it also helps to reduce the contractor's overhead, which eventually link up to the previous point where it would have a better control in variation cost in post-contract stage. So since now I believe most of us quite clear on the importance of BQ, let's move on and see the differences between conventional practice and our practice. Actually, as for me myself, I graduated by having this imagination that the industry is mostly using new technologies such as BEAM, having a proper system to allow professionals to work efficiently. But actually, most of the companies in the construction industry, especially consultants and contractors, are still using conventional practice, which requires more physical effort. And we often have a communication breakdown, especially between consultants. Take, for example, like students who have to do group assignments, right? Say you have segregated tasks between your team members, and there is always one person who need to compile all documents as your end product. This particular student will need to check on the paging, the fonts, the font size, the margin, and so on and so forth. It's really tiring. So what you can do is to have all team members to use a medium like Google Sheets or Google Docs to ease your compilation process. This platform is actually a good example to show how cloud computing works. This is what BuildSpace actually promotes, cloud computing. It is the same in the industry, especially for QS who have to prepare BQ. You imagine having to prepare a BQ for commercial projects. This requires the whole team member to prepare their own set of bills of elements or elements in a BQ to be passed to the contract manager to have a thorough checking. So can you imagine how messed up it is? Therefore, people now started to do some survey in the market to see whether there is a system that will help not only to improve business consistency and continuity, but to also facilitate a better information exchange so that they can enjoy the advantage of analytics and most importantly, reduce costs to maximize profit. Therefore, BuildSpace designed with features to streamline the user's workflow and foster better collaboration by promoting an automated system. So let's go to the interesting part, shall we? Firstly, let's go through how BuildSpace has provided a platform for BQ preparation. In this stage, I will show you on how we can create BQ in 3 ways in BuildSpace. First is to create BQ manually. Second is to import description from the library. Third is how we can import existing BQ from Excel file format into BuildSpace. Later then, we can see how we differentiate the types of each descriptions and how we can print out the BQ as a hard copy. So let's go through the system. So this is a login interface that you can see. First, you can log in to your BuildSpace account and key in the passwords. So once you are logged in, you can see this a blank interface. To start, click on the BuildSpace logo up here, and you can see all the modules that BuildSpace promotes. But today, I will only touch on the library manager and also the project builder. So, library manager is where you actually edit or record the costing for BQ preparation. When you click on the library manager, you can see 3 submodules, which is resources library, schedule of rates, and also BQ library. So resources library is actually where you key in rates for material, labor, and also plants, and so on and so forth. When you click on the resources library, you can see all the resources here. Now, you can see this new resources button. You can always add on new or delete the resources. So for example, we go to material and you can see the list of trades. So from here, you can start to group your materials in one group. So for example, concrete, double click on the ready mix concrete, and you can see the various type of concrete inside the concrete trays. So from here, actually, you can always add a new item by press enter to key in. So here you can start to create a new concrete, for example, ready mix concrete grade 20, and the units would be meter cube. And also you can fill in the rates. So this is where you keep all the materials rate inside the system, inside your library. These steps is also can be done using for labor and also for plants. Now, moving on to the schedule of rates. When you click on the schedule of rates, we often say that the schedule of rates is actually where you do the build-up rate. So when you click, you can see the schedule of rates. And for example, click on the master, and you can see the traits for this particular schedule of rates. So same goes, double click on the vibrated reinforced concrete, and you can see the list of concrete inside this trait. So also you can add on a new row and also add a new item. Say, for example, fill in the units, and from here you can either put the rates manually, or when you double click, we can start to do the build up rates here. Now click on the resource category, and then you can see this pop-up box up here. You can add any resources to be part of your build up rate, and click close. So you can see that I imported the material, labor, and also plant. To fill in, you click on the material. Here you can always add on descriptions manually, or you can import from the resource library. For example, I choose ready mix concrete with 20 and click import to build up quantity, and then you need to input the quantity. Same goes to the labor, concreter, say casting concrete, and click import to build, click the quantity, and also for the plants, click import and fill in the quantity. Now you can see below here the system will auto calculate the build up rate for you. And let's say this item that you have built up is in a meter cube, then you can apply conversion to change it to meter square by click on this checkbox here. But if you choose to maintain with the meter cube, then you go back to the vibrated reinforced concrete here, and you can see that the rates has changed its color into blue. So meaning that these rates are from a build-up rate. So moving on to the BQ library, this is where you actually keep all the descriptions to be used in preparing your bills of quantities. So you can see here the BQ libraries includes SMM2 and also MySysm. So let's go into SMM2. Now you can see all the content in the book itself inside the system. Double click on the elements and you can see all the items over here. Now it is very helpful if you want to create a BQ and you do not know how to actually retrieve the descriptions. You can always use your library, which is this SMM2 as a guideline for you later. Now, we have completed with the library manager. Click on the BuildSpace logo up here, and then go to the project builder. So in project builder, this is where you actually create a project. Click create project, click project information form, and now for the title, say it's project ABC, fill in the client name and make sure all the asterisks has been filled. Malaysia states, for example, and also you have to fill in the site address. Then once you're done, click Save. You can see your newly created project is on top of the list. Double click on the project and now you can start to create your BQ actually. Now to start with, you need to add bills on this one. Click on the blank row and now you can click on the add bill, choose normal bill. Say for example bill number 1 and then click Save. You can create as much as bill as you wanted. For example, I create at least 3 bills and also bill number 3. Click Save. So now that you have 3 bills, it's time for you to create the element level. Double click on the bills and then here you can start to key in your elements. You can either key in manually by clicking enter, or you can make use of our library manager by clicking import elements from the library. Say for example, we choose SMM2 and preliminary. For example, we choose element list and then we choose preliminaries. So click import. Now that the description will auto import it from your library. When you double click, now here is the item level, is where you actually start to do your descriptions. So for example, for this preliminaries, you can fill in manually. For example, site visits, click enter. Here you can see the type. You can change the type by click head. Head is a header. So when you choose the item type is head, you can see that you cannot fill in anything in the unit columns, the quantity columns, and also for the rate columns. But when you actually fill in another descriptions and you maintain its item, you can start to fill in the units, the quantity, and also the rates. So you can see the system will auto calculate the total units of this particular item. So if you can see, say I made another descriptions and I choose, if I want to make it as item PC rates. So I can choose, when you click on, you can scroll down, you can have all the different types that you can use. So for example, for item PC rates, click on the item PC, click enter to save, and now you can see the description will change into this one. How do we fill the rates, supply rates? Double click on the rates, and now here you can key in the supply rates and click save. So other wastage, labor for installation, and other costs will be filled in by the contractor later. So what if I want to, I'm having a item that is a rate only item. You can always choose item RO, which stands for item rate only. Click enter to save. Now you can see the rate only item without quantity. So you can key in the rates. Also, you can also change it into the lump sum item, change it to item LS, click enter, and the quantity will automatically be 1, and you can just fill in the rates column. So easy, right? Next, you can also make use of our library once again by clicking import items from library. Say for example the SMM2, choose preliminaries. Now you can see the checkbox on your left. So when you click, say you want to include all these items inside your description, inside your BQ, click all these items, and you can choose whether to import with rates or without rates. So for example, I choose without rates. So you can see the system will auto import all the descriptions that you have chosen from the library inside your BQ. So next, what if you already have a BQ inside your Excel format? Simple. It's you can just go to the your BQ item in Excel format. So let's say that this is your BQ in your Excel. You can see the descriptions is in C, the units is D, quantity is E, and the rate is F. So what you need to do is only to delete this description box up here, up to the bill number, remove. Also, there's to collection, up to the item with continued, you can click delete. And please make sure that there is a blank row in between the descriptions and there's no merge cell anywhere. And lastly, you need to remove the summary. Now click delete. Once you're done, click save. So when you go back to the system, click, let's say for the bill number 2, you just need to click import from files, click import from Excel, click select file, then you can choose the amended BQ. So as you can see this pop-up box up here. You need to map the descriptions, units, columns from the system from the Excel file into your system. So let's check on this one. The description is C, the units is D, the quantity is E, and the rate is F. So when you go back, you match the columns, click C, D, the quantity is E, and also the rates is F. Then click import. Now that you will need to choose which item that you want to import from your Excel. So say for example, I want to choose all elements, and you can choose whether to import with quantity and also with rates. So say for example, you click import. Now you can see the total amount will be automated in the system. Double click on the bills. You can see your elements is auto imported in the system. Further click into the item level, and all descriptions is automatically imported as well as the units, the quantity, and also for the rates itself. So from here, you can still amend your BQ by click. Let's say you want to change to concrete grade 30. You can just change it like that, or you can you want to change the item type. For example, you want to use item rate only, also can. And also if you wish to like add a new item, you can simply click add row. So say for example 12 mm diameter, click save. Now you can fill in the units, the quantity, and also for the rates. So now that you have done, you can go back to the element level, and to see the outcome of your BQ, you can click on the print BQ. Say click on the print, and now this is your BQ. So the reason why we ask you to delete all the description box as well as the collection to collection, and also for the item with continued, and the summary is because our system will auto generate it as long as you have matched it the columns accordingly. So now that you're done, let's say that you are doing a project such as a residential project, which requires you to have multiple columns such as you have intermediate corner, intermediate corner, and also end lot. So first thing first, double click on the builds. You can click on the build properties. Then down here on the column setting, you can add type. So say for example, you have three types, type A for example, type B, and type C. So once you're done, click save. Now you go back to the element or trait list. You can see the system will auto generate the types according to your needs. So same thing, you can also like input the element, and you double click. You can start to create your BQ here. Say for example, you keep numbers. Then for type A, you can fill in the quantity, type B as well. And let's say that type C do not have this particular item, you can always click on the include column and choose no. So scroll to the right, fill in your rates, and the system will auto calculate for you. Now, what if you also have a Excel BQ for this particular item? Same thing, you can go to the Excel BQ and help me to delete all this description box up to the bill number. When you scroll down, delete all this to collection up to the continued item, as well as the to summary. So once you delete, click save, go back to your BuildSpace, and then click import from files, say import from Excel. So now you need to match the columns just like before. So go back to the multiple types, say this is the descriptions, the units, this is quantity for type A, type B, type C, and the rates. So C, D, E, F, G, H. So you can click on C, D, F, type B is G, quantity, C, D, E, sorry, A, F, G, and H. Then click import. So now you can choose whether to import which elements alongside with the quantity and also for the rates, and then click import. Now, when you double click on print BQ, say click for this item, and you can have this printed BQ with all the type A, type B, and type C alongside with their quantity and units, as well as the to collection. Scroll down, you can have the summary. So up to here, I have shown you how do we actually do BQ descriptions inside the BuildSpace. So moving on, so now we can see that I have shown you how we prepare BQ with import BQ, single and multiple type unit. I have shown you how we define item by type, and also I have shown you the end product of our BQ. So next, moving on to the next one is the pre-tender estimates. Now that you already have all BQ descriptions in the system, it's time for you to prepare a pre-tender estimates. Well, in real life practice, pre-tender estimate is often prepared by QS consultants. This will be their, how to say, benchmark pricing details. A pre-tender estimate sits somewhere between cost planning and the post-contract cost control. It is the quantity surveyor's final costing of the works before they proceed to tender the project. So at this stage, the works can be benchmarked against available cost data to provide comparisons against the provisions on other projects and related to unit values. So pre-tender assessment is also crucial in order to ensure clients' budget do not burst during the construction. So I'll show you how we can do the build-up rate, build-up quantity, and do the cost analysis in BuildSpace. So here is your BQ. Say we go to the builds number 2 and choose a frame element. So here, let's say that you want to do a build-up quantity. So you can just double click on the quantity column. It may take a while. So this often happens. So let's go back to the project builder, double click on the project and double click on the build item, choose frame. So from here, double click on the quantity. It may take a while. So let me choose another project, for example. So for this item, right, you can go to the units. Yeah, here. So now that you can add on the descriptions. So for example, item 1, then you can fill in the length, the width, and also depth. So now the system will auto calculate for you. When you go back to the item level, you can see the units is in a blue color. This means that this units came from your build up quantity. Same goes to your rates. Like I've shown you in the library manager module, when you double click on the rates, now you can start your build up rates by clicking on the resource category and choose whether to input materials, labor, and also plant. So then click close. Now you can see all these resources is here. To start with your build up rate, click on the materials and you can need to key in either manually or you can also import the resources from library. So let's say this item, click import, and then you can fill in the quantity. Next, you can choose for the labor. Also, you can import from the library. See, for example, labor concrete, click import and fill in the quantity. Next is for the plant. Import from the resources library as well. Then say mobile crane. Import and click quantity. Now you can see the build up rates will be auto calculated, and when you go back to your item level and you can see the rates is in the blue color, meaning that the rates came out from the build up rate. So that's one thing that's two things. Firstly is to key in manually. Second is to do a build up rate. And the third part is, let me show you this one. How do we import rates from the library? So now, When you go back to the project breakdown, you can see this import rates icon here. When you click on the import rates, you can see your schedule of rates is up here, and the below level is actually your BQ. Now, for this one, let's say you double click on the bill number 2 and you choose frame. Now you want to import rates for concrete from your library. Then you can go to, let's say, for the master rates, go to the vibrator reinforced concrete. Now let's say this is concrete grade 30, right? So check in this checkbox. So you can go to the concrete grade 30 and click import. So now you can see the rates is in green color, which means this library is imported from your library, and you can further do it for any other items, let's say for the reinforcement and also for the formwork. So click import. Now that you have imported the rates from your library, you can go back to Project Builder. Now you can click reload. Now, once you have clicked reload, the system will auto calculate your or the amount, the overall total. And now, let's say that you want to add on markup. So, for example, you can double click on the bills, go to Build Properties, and enable markup here. Once you're done, click Save, and we go back to the element trade list. You can see the markup column is appeared. So here you can do markup by elements, say for example 3%, or you can do it by item as well. So for item level, so for example, you want to mark up 2.5%, 2%, 2%. The system will auto calculate it for you. And also for you to analyze the overall cost data, when you go back to your dashboard, click reload, and you can see the total markup will auto calculated in the system. So how do you analyze the overall cost data? You can use this project analyzer over here and go to the schedule of rates analysis. So from here, let's say that you choose this master, and you can see the total cost for each resources. Double click on the VRC, and you can apply also can apply markup over here. Say it's 5%. And also say for reinforcement also you can have like 7%. Now when you go back to Project Builder, you can see there is this recalculate button. You can click recalculate for the system to auto generate the new amount, and you can see the total markup is up to 0.6% with 11,413.49 ringgit Malaysia. So this is actually how you do your pre-tender estimates. Firstly is to do it manually, key in manually. Second, that you can do your build-up rates and build-up quantity in the system. Also, you can, the third one is for you to make full use of your library by using this import rates button, where you can import all the rates from your library, provided that the particular item has already been in your library. So now you can see we have go through all these items, and I think that's all for the introduction to BuildSpace. Next, these are our users. As you can see, we are not only focused on the business organization, but also to prepare the industry future generation to be prepared for the Industrial Revolution 4.0. Some of the universities that have been introduced with BuildSpace, such as UM, UMP, UITM, and also SEGI University. We are also looking forward to introduce BuildSpace to any other universities. We will be glad if our future generations are well developed with such knowledge and skills upon entering the industry. So before we wrap up, I have prepared a poll for you to cast your vote whether you are interested to know more about BuildSpace and have your first-hand experience in using the system. So can you help me to cast your vote here? So from here, you can cast your vote. Are you interested to know more about BuildSpace and get your hands on the system? So yeah, I'll remain the poll for another 30 seconds. So I'll just close the poll. Now you can see that is 100% of you would like to have. So if your answer is yes and you feel like sharing this opportunity, having this space to be introduced in your respective university, you can leave us the contact number of the person in charge in your faculty so that we can contact them, and perhaps we will be having another set of system briefing to all of you, as well as to provide your own accounts. If you have any questions, feel free to leave me your questions in the chat box on your right, and I will attend it accordingly. So let's see if there's any questions. So there's a question saying that if you were to amend the element inside the project builder, will the list of Excel file changes as well? Actually, the descriptions in the system will not affect the Excel file. So is it we need to download these apps? BuildSpace is not an software. It's not an application where you need to download. BuildSpace can be accessed as long as you have internet connections, because this is a cloud-based system. So you can please let us know which university you are from, so that we will try to discuss with your lecturers on how to conduct learning program for all of you. Can the data be saved and transferred to other computer or uploaded to the drive? So you see, this is a cloud-based system which acts as for example, like your uh, Google Drive. So any data that is in the system will be accessed using your own account. Let's say this is just like Facebook, you know. When you log in with using your own username and email or password, you can still log into your own account. Either you log in as in your mobile phones or also in your laptop. So BuildSpace is something like that, where you can always log in to your key in the the accounts in the browser. Then you just need to key in the password and also the username. So whenever you try to log in, the all the data are all inside your own account. So, but yes, you can also transfer, like you can download the data, export to Excel files or PDF to be saved anywhere else. So how do we calculate the build-up quantity for steel bar? So quantities to be measured in rebar is to be done in our BQ system. So there is a column for us to put in a factor accordingly. So same thing that you can double click on the and put in all the factors.
Yeah, for this part, everyone, you can hear me. I'm Kila's colleague. My name is Desmond. So, cause the question is a bit overwhelming, so we just need to handle this one together with Kila, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
Mm.
Let me read out the next questions. Then, how did you refer to update the rate of the elements? Okay, there are two ways to go about updating the rates in our elements. The first one is if you actually send out the request for quotation from the system itself, then by the time our supplier that come back to reply to us, then we can straight away input our scheduled rate. The library for raw materials. That's where we keep our library for raw materials for build-up rate. Another one is you create another set of build-up rate, which we call the scheduled rates, where we can also put our rate set. So there are multiple ways to go about to update our new rates in the library. Yep. Are there any international country using the software, for example, Australia or China? At the moment, we have users in Indonesia. Australia and China is negative. Then we haven't really have a marketing plan to bring it to Australia and China. But if you have friends in Australia and China, they are interested to know about the system, then you can actually let us know. Then we see how do we go about that. All right. Does the demo version also have the same feature? All right, our demo version and also full version will be actually the same. The only thing now is we're working on how to put on watermark for a demo version when it comes to some printings and also some export. But as far as students' work assignment is concerned and students' login account is concerned, we will still give you the login account to our demo server. That means the project that you did in demo server will be accessed, can be accessed by yourself from time to time, but will be flushed straight away after the completion of your assignment. All right. Can we convert the final BQ into an Excel file? It's positive. You can actually convert it into Excel file. You can also convert it into PDF file. That depends on how you want to use your BQ. All right. Next question. Wow, there's a lot of questions today. Everyone, thank you. As what I understand, this is a web-based application. So does it have any limitation of space, for example, 5 gig, 10 gig, and so on? All right. Because this is a web-based application, like Kila was telling us, this is also the cloud-based solution, right? So the limitation of space is actually subject to our clients sign out. At the moment we're giving a standard package where we assume all this the capacity and the storage is enough for your project to be done online. But there are circumstances where our clients they decide to upgrade their space or capacity, so we will charge an additional cost for that one. So the good thing about having things done in cloud is because it is always scalable. That means you can actually entry as something small first. When you think it's not sufficient, then you can always upgrade it and also downsize it. So that depends on what your need actually is. All right. So for the time being, to answer the questions, we will say there is basically no limitation in this case because the size of the capacity that depends on the choice you actually opt for. All right. Next questions we have, is there any method to allow us to review back this video because couldn't remember what is told just now? We will send you, maybe there's too much information, but we will usually send out the video recording. Usually it will take 1 hour for us to convert the video. Then we will send you the download link for the video so that you can always recap what is being told, yeah? If my PC is not working, is it possible the BuildSpace is photo safe? Because this is, I believe the question that came out from your side is because sometimes when we do our work in Excel, then it requires us to save the work every time manually or auto save, or there's mechanism working behind. But the beauty about BuildSpace is everything you type in, everything you type in BuildSpace is basically saved. All right. So even tiba-tiba there is some blackout or your computer actually shuts down by itself, but things that we registered in cloud already will be always there. So what you need to do is just to come back again to BuildSpace and then to open up your BQ, and all the information shall be there. All right. So I hope I answered your questions. Can we know who else has accessed and edited? All right. It's a very good question for this one. If to be honest, if because you're a student at the moment, so you'll be using our demo server. So I have to be very frank with you. We have the access. We will be able to see what is actually kept inside your project, but we don't. But ethically, we won't go and touch anything when it's regarded to your project data. Okay. But as for clients who actually sign up and they will have their own private cloud server, that means only the approved, authorized, and also selected people with the login account will be able to access the project information. So there are two ways to go about it. The first one is if it's client subscribe to BuildSpace, then you will have private cloud server. That means even BuildSpace, Desmond, Kila, and our technical team will not be able to access your data anytime. But for your coursework, when by the time you're using our demo login account to our demo server, then we will get to see that kind of data. All right, but we will not touch anything. The most we will do is right after you complete your study, we will flush all the data, and we will also cancel your account. That's all. Okay. Can we amend the file together, not just one person? Okay, it is positive. You can, especially if let's say you have 5 people working on the same BQ, or if you need to use it for your group assignment, like Kila was just now was saying, you do build 1 and then your colleague do build 2, and the rest is doing build 3, and it's still possible. Okay, you can do that. Is BuildSpace successful in other country or in Malaysia? All right, BuildSpace, as long as you've internet, okay, you can basically access anywhere. Okay, because the idea is still working in cloud. So as long as you have a laptop, as long as you have internet connection, then you should be able to access all these informations already. The idea is different from what we did last time. We tried to put everything on premise, which is the server in the office. So you might have problems with accessing the server, but as far as cloud is concerned, you can actually work from anywhere and anytime. Okay, so we don't limit to only Malaysia. No, we don't do that. Okay, any more questions? If no, then I will hand the session back to Kila. Kila, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. With that, once again, I would like to thank you for joining me today. For any more questions, we can have a chat through the numbers on the screen or you can email to us using our support email. And I wish you all the best in your future endeavors, and hope we will see you all in the industry real soon. And please stay safe wherever you are and stay healthy. Thank you and have a good day.